Shalom everybody, this is Meir Elkabas on behalf of the BRI, Breslov Research Institute Pesach Campaign 2023. Just a little bit about Rabbi Nachman's perspective of giving tzedakah to the tzaddik. The commentary, the Parpad L'Chochma, Rav Nachman Goldstein of Cheren, his commentary on Likutei Moharan lesson 4, where Rabbi Nachman's main theme in that lesson is the concept, the topic of giving tzedakah to the tzaddik, to a tzaddik. Rav Nachman of Cheren says that today, even if a tzaddik is not physically around, still one can fulfill giving tzedakah to the tzaddik in three formats, three levels. Number one is by giving tzedakah to the followers of the tzaddik, those who live by and strive to conduct their lives entirely, their family and everything, the growth of bringing everything along the guidelines and instructions of the tzaddikim. And just to explain, there's the Torah at large, but there's the advice revealed by tzaddikim in every generation. And we're talking about people following those specific guidelines and advice revealed by tzaddikim, which are not clearly expressed as an obligation for all Jewish people in the code of Jewish law. That's the idea of followers of a tzaddik. Number two, he says, is by giving to support Torah institutions and synagogues, Batei Knesiot, Batei Midrashot, which are in the name of the tzaddik, meaning that the davening and learning that takes place in these Torah institutions and synagogues is in line with also the advice and guidelines of the tzaddikim, of the tzaddik. Number three, which is the climax, is to give tzedakah to support the publishing of the teachings and writings of the tzaddikim, the books of the tzaddikim, so that their da'at, their knowledge, is perpetuated and continued. These, the Cherner Rav writes, are the three levels of giving tzedakah. Now, he doesn't come to put an X on any of them, and he doesn't give you to assume, so if now one is the highest of giving for the books, so I can put an X on the followers, they can rot, chas v'shalom, and the Torah institutions, they can handle on their own. I want to go for the books. So it's understood that that's not the case. Just like a Jew, the makeup of the human soul has three levels of nefesh, ruach, neshama, the lower soul, the spirit, and the upper soul. And you need all three. You can't just function on the neshama. The neshama, the upper soul, uses as its basis the ruach, the spirit, and the nefesh, the lower soul. They work together. The nefesh also is not enough. It has to have interaction with the ruach, the spirit, and the upper soul. So too the ruach, the spirit, is a bridge between the lower soul and the upper soul. You need all three. Of course, in levels, the neshama is the highest, ruach is underneath, ruach and nefesh is the lowest, but they all interact. You need all three. So too, in the idea of the tzedakah to a tzaddik today, you need all three. There's times, yes, to give. I want my tzedakah to go maximum. I want to give towards the printing of the books of the tzaddikim. Okay, but you also need people who are living by the teachings of the tzaddikim, and they also need to survive and live. And Torah institutions and synagogues, they also need to exist in order for there to be a practical application of the books. So with this in line, we can say like this: the nefesh of giving charity to the tzaddik today is the followers of the tzaddik. The ruach is the Torah institutions and synagogues in the name of the tzaddik. And the neshama of the tzaddik is invested and represented in the books, helping to publish his teachings. All three are needed. Now, Rabbi Nachman once said, the best time to give charity to Eretz Yisrael, the Holy Land, which means to the Jews of the Holy Land, because, as is known, and the Rav of Cheren on his commentary in Likutei Moharan lesson 47 points this out, that until Mashiach comes, unfortunately, things are switched. Normally, all shefa and bounty should be on even a revealed level, coming from the Holy Land to the diaspora. But because we're in exile now, so it has to be the opposite direction. That shefa, bounty, comes from the diaspora into the Holy Land. One of the beautiful reasons brought down by the Cherner Rav there in lesson 47 is to give the Jews in the diaspora to have a part of the Holy Land through their tzedakah money towards the Holy Land. Now, going back to what we said earlier, Rabbi Nachman says the best time to give charity to the Holy Land is the month of Adar, which is a preparation for Pesach, which makes sense. And then obviously, it's understood that it extends into the month of Pesach, the month of Nisan. So going back to what we said, the followers of the tzaddik, in our case, where we're talking now to the bottom line, followers of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov today, those located in the Holy Land, who are in the main people who are obviously very poor and need major support in order to survive and live. For what purpose? So that they can live by the teachings of the tzaddik, do their best to raise their families in the guidelines of the tzaddik, through the atmosphere of the Holy Land, which is propelled to help a person connect to the tzaddikim. Okay? So the best time for that is this time now, Adar and obviously Pesach. With this, we turn to all of you to very much consider opening your hearts and your pockets towards helping the nefesh of the tzaddik, the followers of the tzaddik, especially in this Chag, this special time of Pesach and Adar leading into Pesach, to help as much as possible, B'ezrat Hashem, to help that they can have a beautiful Pesach. Chag kasher v'sameach.